It's time for Real Talk with Brian and Dan, the weekly talk radio show dedicated to discussing important real estate topics, plus insight into the local community. With a combined experience of over 50 years as local real estate brokers from the East Side Real Estate team at Keller Williams Realty Bellevue. Here's your hosts, Brian Levitt and Dan Edwards.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Real Talk with Brian and Dan on 1150 KKNW. It stopped raining, ladies and gentlemen. Yay.
Yay.
Yay. All right. So today is Wednesday, February 12th, 2020, and we're glad you're listening to us today. In addition to listening live on the radio, you're welcome to hear us live stream via YouTube. You can simply go to YouTube, type in 1150 KKNW. You'll find our YouTube channel where we're streaming live. If you'd like to listen to past episodes, you can listen to us anywhere podcasts are casted, both Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. And finally, we have every video of each broadcast on our website on the eastsiderealestateteam.com or on our YouTube channel, the Eastside Real Estate Team. Brian, we got another great show today.
Yes, we do.
I got to say, I'm excited about our Real Talk segment. And I'm also excited to have our guests. We have Catherine Owens of Revel Communities and Mary Gleason of marygleason.life. Before we get to our guests, let's get into the Real Talk. So this week we're going to kind of wing it, which normally we jump in there and we kind of throw some specific topics, but I think Brian and I are expert enough in this that we can kind of talk about it. We're talking about real estate investing.
Right.
Passive income through real estate investing. So, Brian, you are a real estate broker, managing broker, and an investor.
Right.
How did you get started in real estate investing?
You know, one of the things I've learned over the years is that in fact, everybody that I've worked with will say the same thing. You make a living with your job, but you create wealth with real estate.
Yeah.
And you know, owning real estate, one of the things you'll hear us say all the time is, if you don't own your home, give us a call, because right now you are paying a mortgage. It's just not yours.
Someone else's.
So there's nothing like owning an income property and providing a really great housing option for people, which is satisfying in its own right, but having that renter pay our mortgage, and we're building equity. They are not.
Right.
And yeah.
Now, what about like investing for? Let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
You turn on HGTV and you say, you know, fix it or flop it. I don't know what they're called because I don't watch HGTV. Sorry, full disclosure. But there's these shows about, you know, fixing up a home. Is that investing in real estate?
Well, it can be. It's a different approach. I mean, we talk about like we talk about fix and hold or fix and flip. And the idea of fix is you can go in and buy an undervalued property, do the repairs, do the updates, and have instant equity from having done that effort. Because you could buy something that's complete and it'd be a great hold. But by hold, we mean holding it as a rental property, an income property. Flipping is a different matter. That's
like a business.
That's a business,
right?
And you know, managing rentals is a business as well, but they're different objectives. There's three reasons to buy income property. You know, number one, in my opinion, is cash flow.
Okay.
Number two is appreciation. Number three is cash flow and appreciation.
A combination.
So my wife and I, we've always purchased for cash flow. And yet we've done so well with appreciation. But all of our business objectives concerning it were based on analyzing cash flow. And not just the direct income, but also there's some very serious tax benefits.
Yeah.
So looking at the big picture.
So we recently, about 2 weeks ago, we had Stephen Chater, and he's from Arizona, and he actually wrote the book Hold with Wendy and Jay Pap. Is that Papasan? No, it's somebody else.
Yeah.
Anyways, he's a co-author of this book and also an investor himself. And as you look at the idea of what is a investment, a lot of people confuse a business as an investment. And so Brian kind of clarified it there, is when you're talking about looking at investing in real estate, it has to be something that you run through a proper calculator, right? You need to find out cash flow, rate of return, and then the appreciation for me has always been the icing on the cake. Like if you don't invest in something that has positive cash flow that's throwing off a certain dollar amount every day, you could put that money in the stock market, right?
Right.
So you can put the money in the stock market, and most advisors will tell you you can probably get 8% return, maybe 10% return. You know, it depends on how much you manage it. But the one thing we know about the stock market is it's volatile. Right? I mean, somebody gets a flu and suddenly it tanks 400 points, right?
Right.
The other thing about the stock market and investing in the stock market is the one thing you cannot do is rent your securities, right? But
That's
with
right.
real estate, you can rent it, right?
Right.
So that cash flow it's kind of like a dividend stock, right?
Right.
Because every month it's throwing cash. So, Brian, if you were to talk to an investor today, what would you specifically recommend they be on the lookout?
Well, the first thing I do is I ask them what their expectations are. What do they want to accomplish?
What are their goals?
What are their goals? And once I understand that, then I can make recommendations as to what their options are. And honestly, anybody can buy income real estate. Anybody can buy real estate. If you don't have the cash yourself, you can partner with people, and we can give information. Steve Chater has that book Hold. It's an excellent resource for this on how to do that. But one of the things that Dan and I do is we run the analysis on the property to look at what the cash flows are. The first thing we do is prepare a document called an APOD, an annual property operating data schedule. And
Right.
the APOD will tell you exactly what your expenses are going to be, what your income is going to be. And we do factor in appreciation, but we tend to be very, very conservative because nobody's got a crystal ball.
Right.
But the first thing we do, and then we want our investors to run that by their CPA.
Yep.
And we do all the research so they're ready to hand it to the CPA. But we'd like another third party that they trust to validate our findings on.
It's
any
also
particular
good to get
property.
their financial advisor on board because everybody wants to diversify their portfolio, and in order to do that, you need to have balance. You need to have
Right.
liquidity. You need to have some stable investment. And honestly, if you're going to invest 10 to 20% into a investment property, it's not very liquid. It's
no,
locked in there.
But here's something most people don't realize. Right now, Wall Street is buying
That's right.
residential income property.
Yeah.
Figure that one out. I mean, there are companies out there literally buying thousands of income properties, single family residential.
Yeah. So your success story, you have quite a few, but you've got two in Spokane?
Well, we like to buy around universities because they typically get premium rents. Yeah, and we have parents as co-signers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
We guaranteed our rents.
Yeah.
And we typically have, really good renters, young people that take care of the places, that it's kind of fun, working with them, kind of teaching them how everything works. And that's been very, very good for Diane and I.
So last point is one of the biggest challenges to investing here in the Pacific Northwest is the price of the properties. It's very difficult to get a cash flow property without putting a large amount of money down. If you're putting a large amount of money down, the return on investment is lower. So a lot of investors in this area are just banking on appreciation. Well, we have partnerships through Keller Williams. We have an international network where we can actually help investors buy investment properties anywhere in the world. Actually, as a matter of fact, I'm going to be on a podcast for Cabo San Lucas. Hey,
There
how
we
cool
go.
would that be, right? To own your own Airbnb in Cabo San Lucas? That'd be pretty cool. So if any of the listeners are out there and they're thinking, I want to know more, you can get on our list for investment properties. Just email dan.edwards@kw.com. Just write investor in the thing and what you're looking for, what kind of cash flow you're looking for. And if you want to be educated, Brian and I will be doing some sit downs with folks to kind of go over the details. It's very exciting. I think as you look at the stock market, what goes up must come down. If you want to make an adjustment with where your diversification should be, Brian and I would love to talk to you.
And we have properties right now that pencil.
Yes.
So now is a great time. Yep.
Yeah, some great ones. So give us a call. All right. Well, that concludes our Real Talk segment for the moment. And if you want to check out some more, just go to our website at theeastsiderealestateteam.com. Thanks for listening. Up next will be our lender for our Mortgage Moments segment. Stay tuned after the commercial break to hear more from Aram Madastovov. I can never say his name because
Madavosov.
Madavosov, thank you. An experienced loan officer with Movement Mortgage. Join us for Real Talk right after this break.